Once in the forest you'll find a fabulous banquet, a fairy ball. If you close your eyes and you open your mind, the veil disappears and you'll see it all.
Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and for today's video, I hope that you guys are ready to once again be freaked out at the concept, idea, and reality of haunted dolls, because today's video revolves around a Reese's Pieces story, so to speak. You'll understand what I mean in a minute by that, but their experience with a haunted doll that is happening right now. If you are somebody who is new to my channel and I've never mentioned it in a video that you've seen, I have an email called questions@haileyreese.com where you guys can send in any of your questions or emails towards me. Now, I really genuinely and truly try to read through this email as much as possible. When I'm unable to, my grandma even tries to read through this email as much as possible. But it's very, very difficult because so many emails get sent in daily that we end up being 2 months behind the emails. Today, I just so happened to read an email from somebody that was sent in 2 months ago. And when I read it, I, for one, felt sick to my stomach that I hadn't read it sooner. And for two, I right away needed to write back and ask if it was still going on and what was going on. And she replied extremely quick, honestly, like within an hour. And upon reading this email, I asked her if it would be okay if I went ahead and made a video on it today to share it with you guys, because you guys always have some really interesting things to say when it comes to people's experiences. And I love to be able to bring things to you guys. So without further ado, let's get into this creepy story, and then let's talk about what I think is going on here. So like I said, I received an email from a woman by the name of Isabel, and she sent me this email, like I said, about 2 months ago. And the email title was "Help Me, My Daughter Let a Demon In." And right away when I read that title, my heart just, or the subject, my heart just sunk, because anything to do with demons, and especially to do with letting them in, terrifies me so much. So in the email, Isabel started out by saying that she had recently become a single mother as her husband had passed away 6 months earlier in a car crash, and he had left behind both her and their daughter Ella, who was 9 years old. Now, she went on to say that Ella was an extreme daddy's girl, and that like what hurt her most, besides the fact of losing her husband who she loved dearly, was the fact that Ella was going to now be without her dad, because the relationship that they had was just unbelievable. Now, a few months before he passed away, he had actually given Ella an American Girl doll. So he gifted her this American Girl doll on her 9th birthday, and then just months after ended up passing away in a car wreckage. Now, I guess that Isabel has always been very believing in things like this, and that she's always believed that when loved ones pass over, it's not really the end of them. So she actually sat down and had a conversation with Ella, basically explaining that she can talk to daddy and pray to daddy, and that he will be there to listen to her. And it was her way of calming Ella, but also reassuring her that it's goodbye for now, but not goodbye for forever. Well, every single night, Isabel could hear Ella praying to her dad before bed, and she thought that it was one of the most beautiful things. Until one day, her 9-year-old daughter, who didn't really play with dolls in this manner, was sitting in her room on the floor, talking to her American Girl doll as though she were talking to you or I. And it wasn't that that is completely a strange theory, it was just that Ella wasn't somebody who spoke to her dolls and like waited for a response and then spoke back. Maybe she was when she was younger, I don't know, but she told me that at 9 years old, that wasn't the way that her daughter played with her dolls anymore, and that it was very out of the ordinary to hear her having a conversation with her doll and waiting for a response. And so this went on for a couple of days, and each time it started to get stranger and stranger, because the connection that she now had to this doll seemed like more than just a doll. But Isabel didn't really think too much of it. Other than that, it was different, because she figured that since it was one of the last things that her husband had given Ella, she thought that maybe that was why she was playing with this doll so much. Now, here's where it gets super freaky. One night before bed, she could hear Ella talking to her dad like she had been doing, but all of a sudden, she walked into the room to say goodnight to Ella, and Ella was talking to her dad with the doll. So right away, Isabel starts asking Ella why she's talking to her American Girl doll and calling it Dad and Daddy. And she said, Mommy, Daddy came to visit me and he asked if he could live inside my doll. And right away, Isabel's like, what do you mean Daddy came to visit you? And what do you mean he asked to live inside of your doll? And she said one night, in the middle of the night, she woke up and Daddy was there. And he said that he would like to still be with them, so can he live inside of her doll to be there physically? And Isabel said right away, you didn't say yes, did you? And Ella says, yeah, Mommy, I told him he could. So right away, Isabel felt sick, because being somebody who knows how, well, not how it's supposed to go on the other side, but being somebody who basically knows that, you know, you pass on and you wait for your family members on the other side and you watch over them, she knew that it wouldn't be in her husband's nature on the other side to want to be inside of an American Girl doll. So right away it raised a red flag, but she thought that maybe this was Ella's coping mechanism, so she didn't think much of it other than that it was really, really creepy, really strange, and it wouldn't be her husband. And then she proceeded to say at the end of the original email that was sent 2 months ago that shortly after this, really, really creepy things started to happen in their house. Lights would start flickering out of nowhere. She would hear scratching on the walls in the night, and she started to have sleep paralysis, which was something that she'd never had before, where she would see dark, shadowy figures, I guess, choking her in the night and making it unable for her to move. But then she went on to say the reason that she wrote this email was because for the previous 3 nights in a row, when she'd experienced this sleep paralysis, she would wake up when it was all over and Ella's doll would be in her room staring at her, sitting on the floor or sitting somewhere in the room. And when she would ask Ella in the morning how the doll got in there, she would say, Daddy must have walked. So at this stage in the initial email, she basically went on to say that she wasn't somebody who had watched my videos prior, but that when she was looking for answers, she searched haunted dolls into YouTube and my YouTube channel came up and she'd seen that I'd spoken about other people's experiences. So she wondered if I had any sort of advice for hers, and she basically said she's convinced that her daughter let a demon into the doll. So right away I wrote back, firstly apologizing that my emails are in such a back delay. I always feel really bad when you guys write me in any sort of desperation. It takes me up to 2 months to get to your email. So the first thing that I said was that I was really, really sorry. But then I asked her if things were still happening, what was going on, and had things escalated. And that was when she replied and said, things have gotten terribly worse. She doesn't sleep one night without sleep paralysis. This doll pops up everywhere throughout the night. She wakes up with bruises and cuts and markings on her body that she can't explain. And every time she tries to ask Ella what's going on with this doll, she goes ahead and says, Daddy must be walking, because she's convinced that she's let her dad inside of it. Now, where this gets hard for her, you guys, and what she said when I asked if I could share this experience with you guys, is that she knows that the first thing people are going to say is to get rid of the doll. But one thing that they have to bear in mind about this doll is the fact that it is the last thing that Ella's father left her. And so Isabel doesn't want to be getting rid of something that is the last gift from Ella's father who's passed away. And that also puts me in a really strange mindset and headspace as well, because I understand what she means by the sentimental value of this doll. And so I guess where I'm at is all I could think of as a priest, because one thing I want to tell you guys is that when it comes to objects and things like that, demons need permission to enter. So a demon can ask you to go within a doll or things like that. That's what happened in the Annabelle movie. And so it really freaks me out that perhaps a dark entity, even if it's not a demon, took advantage of the fact that Ella would of course want her daddy around still, that she'd be too young to understand and she would let it in. So I guess all that I can really think about at this point is a blessing on the doll. I don't want to suggest that she gets rid of the doll because of the situation of it, but at the same time, it's now getting physical. She has bruises and scratches and markings on her body. So that is essentially where we are at, or where Isabel and Ella are at with this haunted doll. This story freaked me out. It made me sad for the aspect that some sort of entity took advantage of a grieving family. It terrifies me that this has only been within a short span of time. It's escalated so quickly. And it also puts me in a weird headspace because what does she do with this doll? I don't know, you guys know that I always like to come on here, share these real life happenings and experiences with you guys, and leave the comment section completely open as to what you guys think Isabel should do. I told her that I would email her the link to this video once it went live so that she could read through your guys' comments and maybe come to some sort of conclusion. I mean, all that I can think about is to have somebody come in, bless the house, bless the doll. But depending on what the entity is, if it's something much stronger than just a negative entity, blessings and stuff might just provoke it. So I'm gonna do some research for her. I'm gonna try to figure out what I think could be going on. And this is the point in the video where I hope that you guys will go ahead, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think is going on with this and what you think she should do. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would absolutely love it if you would join the Reese's Pieces. We believe in the unbelievable, so if you too believe in the unbelievable or you just want to hear about it, we would love it if you would join our family. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It makes my heart very, very happy when I know that you guys are enjoying the content that I am putting out. And that is it for today's video. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time,